Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Today we're going to explore a very important question in Islamic theology. In Islamic theology, the problem of evil, masalah ashar, deals with how evil can exist in the world created by Allah, who is all-powerful, all-knowing and perfectly just. The Quran tells us that Allah is not unjust to His servants, but we still see suffering, oppression, disaster, and wrongdoing. So the big question is evil from God or human beings? To answer this question, Muslim scholars form two major theological explanations, which are the Mu'tazilites and the Ash'arites. The Mu'tazilites were rationalists. To them, God is perfectly just. Therefore, God cannot create or curse evil. Humans have free will, and evil happens because humans choose to do wrong. They believe if God forced humans to do evil, then punishing them would be unjust, and God never does injustice. The Ash'ari explain the problem differently. They say God is all-powerful. Nothing happens without Allah's will. Even evil occurs by divine decree. But humans are still accountable through a concept called kasb. Humans acquire actions that God creates, which means God creates the action, human choose it.
Now let's look at how HUSNA wal Jama'ah explain the problem of evil. Have two main principles, divine wisdom hikmah and predestination qadar. They believe that everything including good and evil happens by Allah's will and creation, but Allah is never unjust. What we see as evil may actually carry hidden wisdom. The Quran said, perhaps you dislike something which is good for you. Allah knows why you know not. According to Imam Ash'ari in Kitab Al-Lumah, Allah creates all actions but humans acquire responsibility for their choice. This maintains Allah's absolute power while keeping human moral accountability. The Quran states, say all things are from Allah, meaning everything is under His decree, but He's never command injustice. The Prophet ﷺ taught, what has passed you was never meant for you, and what has reached you was never going to miss you. He also said, when Allah loves a servant, He tests him. This shows that suffering is not meaningless. It is a form of test and purification. Scholars like Al-Ghazali and Ibn Taymiyyah emphasize that nothing Allah creates is without purpose. Finally, Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah hold on to this verse. He can't be questioned about what He does, but they will be questioned. This reminds us that Allah's wisdom is perfect, even we can't fully understand it.
Now I'll talk about the Mu'tazilah view on the problem of evil. The problem of evil is one of the hardest questions in theology. If God is all-powerful and perfectly good, why does evil exist? For Muslim thinkers, this question connects to the belief in God's justice, al-adl, and wisdom, al-hikmah. The Mu'tazilah also called Ahlul Adl wa Tawheed, which mean the people of divine justice and unity. They were the first Muslim theologians that explained this issue using reason and logic. They strongly believe that God never commits evil because He is perfectly just and wise, and every act of God has a good purpose even if humans cannot see it. Divine justice, al-adl, is the foundation of their view. They use Quranic verses to support their belief that Allah does not do injustice, such as from Surah An-Nisa verse 40, indeed Allah does not do injustice even at atom's weight. And Allah does not wrong the people at all, but it is the people who are wronging themselves, from Surah Yunus, verse 44. Based on these verses, they argue that evil cannot come from God, but from human beings. The Mu'tazilah say that God gave humans free will, so we are responsible for our choices and acts. They support this using verses like, what comes to you of good is from Allah, but what comes to you of evil is from yourself, from Surah An-Nisa, verse 79. And also in Surah Ashura, verse 30, whatever strikes you of disaster, it is for what your hands have earned. To them, this proves that evil deeds are created by humans, not by God. One of their famous scholars, Abdul Jabbar al-Hamadani, said, "It is impossible that injustice or evil be attributed to God, for He is just and wise, and the act must come from humans. If it came from God, punishing us would be unjust." According to the Mu'tazilah, God cannot be the source of moral evil. Moral evil comes from humans when they misuse the free will God gave them. As for natural hardships, like sickness or disasters, these are not moral evil, but purposeful tests from God to help humans grow and improve.
Now that we've looked at the individual views, let's compare how the main Islamic theological school explain the problem of evil. All schools agree on two foundations. First, Allah is perfectly just, adlu. Second, humans are responsible for their actions. But they differ in how they explain the origin of evil. Ahli-Sunnah wal Jama'ah takes the middle path. They believe Allah creates all actions, but humans acquire responsibility through kasb. Evil exists as part of Allah's divine wisdom and is a test that raises a believer's spiritual rank.
The Mu'tazilah, known as the rationalists, they put Allah's justice above all else. They argued Allah is too perfectly just and good to ever will or create anything evil. Therefore, evil must come purely from human free will. Humans are 100% responsible for their sinful actions. This protects God's moral perfection, but it reduces the role of divine power in worldly events. So while both schools try to explain evil, they have different priorities. The Mu'tazilah prioritize divine justice, while the Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah prioritize divine power and sovereignty. These two views highlight how Islamic scholars try to understand Allah's justice, human actions, and the purpose of suffering from different angles.
Next, critical evaluation. The Mu'tazilah believe that reason akal is the main way to understand moral truth. They stress that God is perfectly just and cannot will evil. Humans have free will, ikhtiyar, and create their own action. Therefore, evil happen because people misuse their freedom, not because God will it. This view depends God's justice and human responsibility. It explains that humans deserve punishment only if their acts by chosen. However, it appears to limit God's absolute power and struggle to explain suffering that is not caused by human action.
For the Ash'arite underlying principles, the Ash'arites focus strongly on divine revelation, meaning God's words are above human reasoning. They believe that God creates every action and every event, even what we call evil. Humans do not create their actions, we only acquire them. For the Ash'arites, God's power is absolute and human understanding is limited. So we cannot fully know why God allows certain things to happen. Evil exists within God's decree, and the wisdom behind it may be beyond what we can understand. Critical evaluation. Now let's evaluate their view. A strength of Ash'arism is that it strongly defends God's complete power and stays close to the Quran and Hadith. But the view also has weaknesses. If God creates every action, including evil ones, it becomes harder to explain how humans can be fully responsible. The idea of kasb is also seen as unclear. Explaining evil as God-hidden wisdom may make God seem unpredictable and can lead some people toward fatalism, feeling like they have no real control. So to sum up, the Ash'arite view reminds us that Allah's power and wisdom are far greater than what humans can understand. Even though kasb is difficult and some parts raise questions, the Ash'arites given an important message that everything happens by Allah's will and nothing is outside His knowledge. This teaches us to trust Allah, stay patient and rely on His guidance, helping us grow and be better Muslims.